In the next 3 videos, we'll be looking at green screen and how it's used in video production, planning to film with your green screen, and how to edit it in post-production. The term green screen just means the coloured background you wish to turn transparent to remove from your shot. Everybody has witnessed footage that used a green screen. They're a large part of how films are made in the Western world. For example, the Star Wars prequels, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the Pirates of the Caribbean saga all heavily relied on green screens. Whilst green screening may seem like an advancement that has been introduced within the past 30 years or so, one of the earliest examples of the idea of green screening was used by a director called Edwin S. Porter in 1903 for his film The Great Train Robbery. So, why green? Because it is the colour furthest away from the shade of human skin tones. Alternatively, a blue screen is sometimes used. These are useful when shooting in an environment which already uses a lot of shades of green, for example a forest. Originally though, a blue screen was used whilst recording footage on old-style film pre-digital age. Once familiar, using a green screen with a basic intent isn't much harder than standard video editing if planned correctly. Going into a green screen shoot for the first time though, there are numerous important considerations to be made. The first consideration to make is the size of the green screen you'll be using and of the space you will use. The length of the screen itself and the width of the crossbar is information that can save potential problems down the line. If it's a smaller green screen in a larger room, for example, is there anything green in the background that shouldn't be, that could interfere with the footage? Do you need to change the camera lens that you intended to use? In a process that requires a lot of attention to detail, make sure you start to give it from the off. Rigging the green screen can differ depending on the type of green screen you're working with. For instance, if it's a smaller blanket looking version, these are often rigged the same way a backdrop is before school picture day, consisting of 2 stands which attach to a pole which mounts the green screen. From here, you can decide the right height of your green screen. Judging this should be based on the height of your subject, the size of the space you're working with, and what type of camera lens you will be using. Green screens do come in all shapes and sizes, but all offer the same benefit. As mentioned before, a common type at entry level is mounted on 2 poles and hangs down and out. Collapsible green screens are also popular and useful, and handy for filming in smaller locations or for covering windows, door frames and windshields. The top of the line for green screening though is an entire studio dedicated to it, which looks like this. These types of green screen are industry standard and are used prominently in Hollywood. Whilst the process can take some time, it can be sped up by careful planning. This begins with a shot list. By planning the shots you wish to use a green screen with, you're then able to block them out. This is essentially a practice. Have the subject positioned where they will be on the day of shooting and become familiar with how to light and position them. More on both of these will be in the next video. But by doing this, you will already be rehearsed for the actual day and feel more confident. In the next video, we'll look at how to position a subject both in motion and static, in addition to the correct way to light a green screen.